Hello Bard haters, and welcome to another fine We Hate Bards Let's Play. I'm Ben, and this is more Fallout New Vegas Hardcore Permadeath. Last time, if you'll recall, we had a couple incidents relating to our companions. The first one was unfortunately inescapable because Mr. House kind of ordered me to do it, which was I had to go and take out the Brotherhood of Steel, which I'm sure Veronica is not very happy about. But I haven't talked to her. She hasn't openly attacked me, but we also haven't really talked the way we used to. It's not the same, the relationship is a bit strained. So, not looking forward to that conversation. The other one, if you'll recall, was we had an unfortunate incident regarding Arcade Gannon while trying to do his loyalty quest, which was the Legion showed up and sort of killed his ass. Which sucked, because now I can't get the unique variant of the power armor. And again, while not playing on hardcore mode, that would have been I could have easily dealt with that because Arcade Gannon wouldn't have been killed, he just would have been knocked unconscious. And I could have continued as usual. But since we're playing on hardcore mode, because Chris insists it is the only way to play Fallout New Vegas, so thank you very much, Chris, fellow member of We Hate Bards, for forcing me to do this. However, there is one other thing we can do at Jacobstown that I sort of cliffhangered with last time. We can talk to our good friend Rex and get him some help. We're going to talk to the king about Rex, and we'll notice that there seems to be something wrong with him. And he will tell us that we have to go and talk to Julie Farkas at the Followers of the Apocalypse. And that will give us the quest, Nothing But a Hound Dog. As I mentioned last time, I don't actually need to do this quest. There is virtually nothing in it for me because I'm not planning to use Rex as a companion. But it does give me a good feeling of satisfaction knowing I helped out a poor little puppy who can now continue to live out the rest of his days in peace. Unfortunately, there's no Arcade Gannon here because he will not be living out the rest of his days in peace. He will be living out the rest of his days in pieces. And if we talk to Julie Farkas about Rex, she will tell us that Rex's condition is treatable, technically. It is treatable, but not by her. We have to go and talk to Dr. Henry, who, actually, we've already gone and talked to at the end of last part. Hey, good news, King. Julie Farkas lied to you earlier. So once we've proven that we're going to help Rex get better, he'll let us use Rex. Yeah, I'm not going to be using Rex for anything other than his unique quest, because I've already had 2 companions die, and I'm going to be fucked if I let the dog die too.
Got a problem. Could use your help.
Oh, I forgot this was a thing. Marcus just asked me to go and help out with a problem, because there's mercenaries harassing them, and yada yada yada. Speech 65 is enough to tell them to get the hell out of here.
I've always known what to...
That is literally the easiest way to do it. You could also just kill them, and it'll still complete the quest, technically. But I generally try to do it peacefully, because, again, it's only a Speech 65 check, which you should have by this point. You can actually, again, if you're being a dick, and I've seen people do this, you can convince Marcus to give you a shit ton of caps to pay off the mercenaries' bounty, and he'll do it. I think you actually have to talk to the mercenaries and find out what kind of bounty they want. But you can get the bounty, and then you can kill the mercenaries, keep the bounty, and that's probably the most evil way I can think of to do that quest. As for Rex himself, all we gotta do is talk to Dr. Henry, and we'll tell him that he needs to fix our cyber dog. I actually had to check this before coming here to Dr. Henry, because I couldn't remember whether or not I had any of the dog brains. I know where all 3 of them are. One of them is in one of the Legion dogs, who I couldn't remember whether or not I'd killed. But it was the dog of the legionary who I had to get the teddy bear back from. And it turns out I didn't kill him. The other one is the brain that I have, which is from Violetta, Violet's dog. However, if you don't have either of those two and you don't want to get in any fights, the easiest way to get a dog brain is to go back to Old Lady Gibson, and I think with either a speech check or a small amount of caps, she will just kill one of her dogs and give you the brain. Which seems a bit horrifying in retrospect, but luckily I didn't have to do that. I had a dog I had killed already, and I can just, yeah, it'll also make him faster, which to my mind is the best case scenario. This will make him faster. The one with Old Lady Gibson gives him a higher defense, or better defense. The one, the Legion dog, gives him a higher attack, I believe. Completed quest, Nothing But a Hound Dog, and I think at this point we can just tell Rex. I'm sorry, Rex. Listening to that sad whimpering makes me really sad. He's like, oh, I want to stay with you. You're a fun person. But unfortunately, I do need to send it back to the king. And granted, that means I have to send it back across the entire Mojave Wasteland. Which Might be a bad thing, but he generally makes it there okay. Actually, I don't think it's even possible for them to die on the way back to their... Basically, we're not even telling them to walk all the way back across Mojave. We're just using our magic teleporter gun. But, now that we've finished Rex, we can do the other thing I wanted to do here, which is I can help him work on a cure for the Nightkin. So, good old Doc Henry has told me that the only way to really effectively go and deal with this, he needs me to find a version of the Stealth Boy Mark II, which is apparently a more dangerous version of the Stealth Boy Mark I. And he believes there's a Stealth Boy Mark II in the cave just outside the town. So we can go and we can grab that and bring it back. The reason he knows that, by the way, is because there have been a bunch of Night Stalkers showing up who are invisible, or rather they have the Stealth Boy field around them. And he was telling us that while it's possible it's a mutation that could have developed naturally, it is extremely unlikely. And he knows for a fact that the Stealth Boy Mark II has certain chemicals in it that, if wild animals ate, it would give them, a stealth field around them. It would also make them really sick and eventually kill them, which has also, roughly speaking, been happening. I mean, I can't imagine the chemicals are going to be more dangerous for them than anything I have in my arsenal right now, but never mind. Doc Henry wants us to go and kill them. I guess that's what we're going to do. Now, the easiest way to do this, I find, is sneaking, because while they themselves are invisible, they don't actually have very good perception, so if you're invisible too, they generally don't see you. And I'm not going to burn an actual stealth boy for this. I've also got my sniper rifle, which will allow for good stealth kills. Shit. Okay. Sneaking isn't going as well as I had expected it to. Before I do any of that, though, I need to make sure there aren't any more of these bad things here, because I don't remember exactly where the stealth boy that I need to find is. Yeah, it is a tad bit difficult to tell whether or not the little wrinkles I'm seeing are actual enemies or graphical fuck-ups. Okay, dude, I know you're there. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I got lucky. He got caught on a bit of wall. Okay, radiated water. Time to use a Rad-X. Not that it's going to help, but I have a crap ton of Rad-X, and if I don't use them now, when am I going to use them? Ah, there's one. Shit. Cock. So if memory serves, the Stealth Boy Mark II should be right in this area. Uh-oh. So should more Night Stalkers. This is what we need. The Nightkin with a chewed Stealth Boy. And now we're just gonna run. Oh! Okay. Step 1, Stim Pack. Step 2, Power Fist. Yeah, I remembered it was gonna spawn a Night Stalker, I just didn't remember where the exit was so I could run away from it. Anyway, with the chewed up Stealth Boy, we can now come back and talk to Dr. Henry, and he will then send us to go talk to Lily, and a bunch of other things are going to happen. Again, not the most interesting quest, but at least not as bad as, what was it, the one for Joanna. Yep, the only way for me to actually finish this up is by human testing. I mean, technically she's not a human, she's a super mutant, and as we all know, super mutants aren't people, so I guess that makes it okay. Go back into Dr. Henry, he will tell us we can start the tests, and the tests will ultimately be successful, which the test basically just consists of, he's going to use a Stealth Boy or something on Lily, she's going to turn invisible for a little bit, and then that's going to be it. And once they're done running their experiment on finding that some weird things are going on with it, who should show up but this guy named Keen, who I haven't actually showed off yet. Keen is basically a Nightkin who is really angry and aggressive and kind of leads the other Nightkin. And now he's going to demand we give him a Stealth Boy, but because I have a speech of 80, I can just tell him, no, go away.
No, I didn't.
I can tell him some inspirational thing and he will walk away without questioning it.
I've never seen anyone able to talk their kind out of anything once they had their
That's because most people don't have a speech of 100.
I got a lot of use.
And with a science of 90, we can give him some advice on how to make some further tests in the future. Because he wants to continue testing on Lily. And we're going to say, no, that's wrong. And instead we're going to tell him to run it on a Night Stalker brain using neuropeptide stimulators, which should work like a live brain. So that's going to give us the experience for both the speech checks and the experience for Guess Who I Saw Today. which admittedly doesn't put us anywhere near level 22, or level 22, yeah, level 22. But it does give us a little more experience anyway. So those are basically the only things we can do at Jamestown, and once they are done and over with, we can come back to the strip now to do the one big thing I wanted to do this part. And that is to deal with the Ultra-Luxe. But first, let's talk to Heck Gunderson and make a new friend.
Stranger, but
And after talking to Heck Gunderson, we will unlock the Ultra-Luxe quest, Behind the Beef. Now, one of the easiest ways to actually complete Behind the Beef, which I'll just give a brief synopsis of what it is. The Ultra-Luxe are cannibals, or at the very least their leader, Mortimer, is a cannibal. He's trying to convince everyone else that cannibalism is awesome, and that, we shouldn't be afraid to eat the dead. Which, as a practical person, I could kind of see, except that eating human flesh does kind of make you go insane. Mortimer is trying to convince everyone else that cannibalism is great, but not having much success. So what he does is he wants to kidnap a person, kill them, and eat them, and trick other people into eating them, so that they then can no longer say that cannibalism is horrible and yada yada yada. But while doing it, they accidentally kidnapped the wrong person. They got Ted Gunderson, and now his father Heck is, oh no, it was they were originally going to have a different person. That person escaped. They got Ted because Ted's a similar build. Mortimer realizes that's a bad idea, so if you're a cannibal and he realizes it, he'll ask you to help him out by going to find a suitable replacement. Then Ted will get released, Gunderson will go on his way, and everything is fine. And that one's a way easier to do, because you can do it without even fighting at all.
Good day.
But we don't have Cannibal, and I wasn't going to waste a perk on it, because as a perk, it's not really that useful. You can eat corpses and gain a little bit of HP, along with a fair amount of radiation per person you eat. Yet, we ask him about any work that needs to be done. He'll tell us we wouldn't have the stomach for it. However, if we go and talk to one of the other White Glove Society people at the Gourmand, I'm looking for someone who went missing recently.
I know I read.
The interesting thing about Marjorie is, from what I've been able to discern, she's not actually a cannibal. She doesn't eat human flesh. Because even if you have the cannibal perk, and you can tell it, because I had the option to lie and say, yeah, I eat human flesh. But whether you lie or use a cannibal perk, she still says, that's horrifying, please get out of my face. And she seems to genuinely mean it. So I'm guessing she doesn't actually, she's not actually a cannibal, but she suspects Mortimer might be. Alright, now if we talk to Mortimer, we can ask him about the investigator. And we'll lie, tell him we have critical information. And he'll give us the room key. And if we wait for a while, he'll also give us a complimentary beating. The complimentary beating comes from the fact that once I find out the investigator's been murdered, they're going to send one of their people after me, and I'm going to have to kill him. Yep, Investigator J. Barnes, he has a matchbook on him, and that's about it. Which seems odd. Oh, look! Friends! I see you use a cane. I prefer punching things. Ow. So I forgot for a second we were supposed to take the matchbook because there's a meeting place on it to go meet this other dude. Now I'm hoping if I'm lucky, he will still be around. Because if he's not around right now, I'm going to have to wait 24 hours for him to show up. And we all know what that means on hardcore mode. Oh, he's still around. Sweet.
Who are you?
So the contact we're meeting with has told us that he knows where Ted Gunderson is. Ted Gunderson's still alive, for now. But they're planning to kill him and eat him. I recommended telling Heck, but then he pointed out the fact that I wouldn't do that. Heck's a bit of a firework, and if we were to tell him that they were going to eat his son, not only would he probably kill everyone inside the Ultra-Luxe, he would also try to completely bankrupt the strip. So we're not going to tell him. We're just going to free Ted and hope that nobody pays any attention.
But you can bet that.
Further inquiry into this person reveals that we could switch things out. That we trick Mortimer into feeding people regular beef and thinking it's human flesh, and then thus exposing Mortimer. And as soon as he's told us things, oh wait, an assassin has shown up, who's a little bit tougher than the regular White Glove members, but as we can see, he still goes down in one punch. I don't know why, but that water was listed as red, meaning that drinking it was technically stealing. But yet when I drank it, it didn't count it as stealing, and no one got mad at me. Alright, so I'm considering trying to sneak my way down there, but in the time between, coming back to New Vegas and coming here, I happened to notice that my Chinese stealth armor is almost completely destroyed. And there are people with guns down there. We're going to try and be as sneaky as we can while wearing a massive tin can suit. And because once we can get past this door, everyone's going to be hostile to us anyway, so we can just go nuts. And I was going to equip my chainsaw, but I remembered I didn't have it. Oh! There goes your head. Oh, I was pickpocketing him. That's not what I wanted to do. And there goes your head, too. It's like freaking rock'em sock'em robots down here, man. Flamer? Flamer fuel. I think I can make this interesting yet. Infected Brahmin meat. I think that's their way of saying this is actually human flesh, so don't eat it.
You, what do you think you're doing?
Oh, look, you've been cooked to death. Not as funny when it's you, huh? Alright, so at this point I am going to switch over to my Chinese stealth armor. And the reason I'm going to switch over to my Chinese stealth armor is because I do actually want to sneak past him. If we kill Philippe before he does his cooking thing, then we're going to have to do the cooking. And I don't think I have high enough skills to do that. Oh, we do have to get rid of Felipe. Well, I can think of one way to do that. Now, admittedly, what would be really funny is if I still made them all cannibals, but just used Felipe's cooking to do it. Or rather, Felipe's body. Okay, so now we have to learn how to be a chef. Survival of 75 or higher required improvised, or intelligence of 6 or higher plus a recipe. Now that we're done, we can call the waiter. Actually, can we free Ted Gunderson before we do that? If you take the key off of Philippe, you don't actually need to use the computer. You can just open it right up, and Ted Gunderson right here.
My daddy's gonna kill all you.
So, once we've done that, we can then use this to call the head waiter.
How may I assist?
Time to serve the meal. And he will come down, he will serve the meal. You're just going to chill right here. And we're going to be sneaky. And we're going to close the door just in case. And the head waiter has now grabbed it, so all we have to do is sneakily follow him back out of here.
We were bound together.
Okay, so we managed to sneak up to the dining area where Mortimer's giving his big speech. And this is the moment where he reveals you've all eaten human flesh. Except if you have Ted with you, you can just walk right up there and expose him. Incidentally, you do have to wait for him to finish his speech before you try to expose him, otherwise it doesn't work. Bad news, Mortimer. No one's eating the boy you kidnapped tonight. And all we have to do now is this. And pop goes the Mortimer. So the good news is now that I helped expose the White Glove Society, or rather expose Mortimer and his plan for the White Glove Society, I've actually gained White Glove Society fame. And Marjorie acted as a sponsor to allow me into their society, so I can come back here and get access to some of their better stuff, including food. Which isn't a problem because they're not eating people anymore, they're just eating their Brahmin steaks, which the Brahmin steaks are actually really good items. I mean, the basic ones are good. They actually have like really high quality cuisine ones. And those restore a lot of hunger. And heartfelt reunion between Ted and his son, or Heck and his son Ted. We're actually going to be honest with him and tell him the truth, because if we do, we can talk him down from this. Put up a damn blockade, whatever. That's just what they want. You'd be driving them to eat each other, and then they all would become cannibals.
I don't.
And we got 500 caps, and now the strip likes me because I helped them out again. And I got enough to level up. So I put most of it into lockpick. Because, like I said, I want to get lockpick up nearer and nearer to 100. I still don't need it at 100 yet, but having it fairly close is going to be useful. And then I put the rest of it in explosives. Because I do want to use the missile launcher and all those things eventually. And I realized it was really low. Plus, putting my remaining points gave me a round number in explosives. So, that's what I'm planning to do. So I've decided to take Super Slam because at this point I've essentially run out of perks that are legitimately useful to me. And Super Slam will at least give me a benefit I couldn't get with just an additional attribute point. Yeah, that's going to be an issue the further up I level is there are going to be perks. There just aren't going to be as many perks as I need. There aren't going to be as many perks that I want, so I might have to start just taking the special ones. I can't remember what the perk is for it, but I get a bonus special point. So I'll probably just start doing that soon. But as we leave the Ultra-Luxe, that's all we needed to do there. That was their unique quest. And if we've been doing the wildcard route, or I think you have to complete their quest on the NCR route as well. then we could go and turn it into somebody. But there's no one else to turn it into. Mr. House doesn't care if they eat flesh, as long as they do what he tells them to do. So that's going to be where the quest ends. And it's also going to be where this video ends, because there are several quests I want to do still. One of them is going to be the Great Khans, where I convince, what is that called? Oh My Papa. I'm going to have to go and convince all of his lieutenants to turn against the Legion. And if I can do that, the Great Khans will not be a problem in the upcoming fight, so I'm prioritizing that, obviously. And then there are various other side quests, of which I can remember a few of them, but I can't remember a lot. So I'm going to have to go and explore around and see what all quests I actually have to get done before we kind of bring this to a head. But in the meantime, and while I'm getting stuff done off-screen, including getting my armor repaired, until then, thanks so much for watching, guys. I was Ben, and this is more Fallout New Vegas Hardcore Permadeath. See you next time, everyone.